Good evening and welcome inside the Sullivan Center here on the campus of the University of St. Francis. It's the Fighting Saints against the Bees of St. Ambrose in tonight's CCAC basketball matchup. Terry Bonadonna with you for today's action. The number 9 Saints come in with a 5-2 record, a perfect 3-0 in conference play. St. Ambrose is 3-3. They likewise are perfect in conference. They've won both of their CCAC matchups. Quick look at the starters for today's game. The visiting Bees of St. Ambrose have Maddie Epperson and Charlotte Flynn in the backcourt along with Jamie Martins. The forwards are Colleen Grady and Kylie Robleski. Their star freshman center who stands at midcourt right now against Jordan Pyle. And Pyle wins the tip to Paige Gieske. Charlotte Flynn immediately reaches in. It's a jump ball and possession arrow has not been set yet, because that was the opening tip. So they're going to do it again, but this time the two players who got tangled up. So it's Gieske against Flynn on the second chance at a tip. Paige Gieske wins it to Caitlin Alward, and the Saints take first possession. Leah Sims, Jordan Pyle, Caitlin Alward, Shadrian McDaniel, and Paige Gieske. Those are the starting 5 for the Fighting Saints, wearing gold and going from right to left here in the first half. Sims passes back to Jordan Pyle. Shadrian McDaniel with 10 on the shot clock, hands it off to Gieske. Gieske, top of the key, bounces down low to Alward, backing in on Epperson. She tries to cut it outside, deflected out of bounds. That was deflected out by Epperson. Colleen Grady was on the initial defense. The shot clock reset, it shouldn't have. They're going to have to get that fixed before we go on. It's at 9:30 right now. It's the game clock. So the shot clock should be at either 3 or 4, because remember the initial tip was called a held ball. Paige Gieske went up against Charlotte Flynn when they tried it again, and that was at 9:57. They'll keep it at 25. Gieske inbounds to McDaniel. Now outside Jordan Pyle, it's a shot clock violation. So the shot clock never reset. It should have set to either 3 or 4. It was at 2.5 actually is what the problem was, rather than 25. So it was a shot clock violation against St. Francis. And now it's St. Ambrose basketball for the first time. The Bees in navy blue, going from left to right here in the first half. First possession offensively for the Bees. Here's a drive from Epperson. She pulls up the free throw line, kicks it outside to Charlotte Flynn. Flynn, three-pointer in the face of Jordan Pyle, no good. And Paige Gieske comes down with the rebound. Gieske races up the floor and kicks it to her left. Alward, open look for 3, got it. And the Saints strike first, a three-pointer from Caitlin Alward, the leading scorer on the Fighting Saints, coming in, averaging better than 15 points per game. She gives St. Francis a 3-0 advantage in the first 2 minutes. Charlotte Flynn on the right wing for St. Ambrose. Lobs it down low. Shot blocked by Pyle, out of bounds. Kylie Robleski tried to put it up from underneath, but Pyle, who checks in 3 inches shorter than Robleski, was able to get up high and knock it away. 16 on the shot clock. St. Ambrose inbounds from the baseline. Sent into Maddie Epperson. Epperson drives baseline and kicks it outside, where Caitlin Alward jumps in front of Robleski and knocks it out the sideline. 4 seconds gone by on that possession, so the shot clock is down to 12, and St. Ambrose still has not gotten a clean look. They'll inbound it for a second time. Maddie Epperson set to throw it in, and she gives it to the sophomore guard, Jamie Martins. Martins passes to the left. Here's Charlotte Flynn on the drive, pulls up at the free throw line. Kicks it outside, Martins lobs down low, tipped by Gieske, right to Leah Sims. It's a steal for the Fighting Saints. Sims gets inside the perimeter, now kicks it out to Gieske. Gieske drives baseline. She's stopped by Charlotte Flynn and pulls it back out. Gieske in the corner, bounces low. Alward against a double team, banks it in. Caitlin Alward's got the first 5 points in the game, that time from about 3 feet out against 2 defenders. An impressive start for the senior All-American Caitlin Alward. Lob down low, and Alward knocks it out of bounds. It was last touched by Kylie Robleski. Robleski, the 6'2" tall freshman, is the leading scorer and rebounder for St. Ambrose this year, and they've been working hard to get her the ball inside. The Saints have not allowed them to do that through the first 2.5 minutes. Paige Gieske over to Alward, and it's ripped out of Alward's hands by Colleen Grady. A tie-up called, and the possession arrow goes the other way. Alward's off to a great start in this game, but that time She left the ball out there, allowed Grady to reach in. Good defensive play by Colleen Grady. St. Ambrose basketball, trailing by 5, still looking for their first points of the night. Flynn passes up top to Epperson. Three-point attempt is good. And St. Ambrose is on the board. Took them over 2.5 minutes, but they do strike with their first three-pointer of the game. Maddie Epperson, a junior from Athens, Illinois, makes it a 2-point game. And the Saints throw it away. Gieske and McDaniel not on the same page there as the ball goes out the sideline. It's a turnover committed by St. Francis. Jamie Marstons swings it to the right side. It's Charlotte Flynn guarded by Gieske. Up top to Martins, through her hands, and somehow she tracks it down just before it rolls out of bounds. Martins starts to make a move inside, now kicks it out. It's Charlotte Flynn on the right wing, guarded by Leah Sims. Flynn pulls up to the free throw line. Now looking for help, gets it out to Martins. Martins into the corner, Epperson another three. In and out this time, rebound tapped, out of bounds. Last touch by St. Ambrose. St. Francis basketball following Epperson's missed three-point attempt that would have given the Bees the lead. It's still a St. Francis 2-point lead, 5-3. Leah Sims tries to cross over on Jamie Martins. Can't get around her. She passes out. McDaniel up top to Elward. Left side, wide open look. Leah Sims can't hit the three. Offensive rebound. McDaniel back up with it. No. And Robleski comes down with it. McDaniel tries to take it away, and she forces the tie-up. It's going back to the Saints. Robleski caused a little trouble for McDaniel, who was fading away from underneath as she tried to take that shot. But McDaniel got her back, trying to rip the ball out of her hand. She gets the turnover. There's Elward backing in on Grady. She kicks it out to Pyle, right back to Caitlin Elward. Elward into the paint, scoop shot, can't get the roll, but she does get the foul call. Caitlin Elward is going to the free throw line. 5-3, Saints lead. Elward's got all 5 of St. Francis's early points. And now a chance for 2 more as Grady is called for the first foul of the game on either team. Elward's first free throw misses short. 70% free throw shooter so far this season. Number down a bit from years past. She leads the team in scoring, though, and by about twice the next leading scorer on the team. She hits on the second free throw and makes it 6-6. Elward entering play today averaged 15.4 points per game. Nobody else on the squad is at more than 8. Three-point lead, St. Francis. St. Ambrose basketball. Jamie Martins passes to her right. This is Charlotte Flynn. Flynn passes up top to Janie Pestegard, and a travel call against Pestegard. Janie Pestegard just checked in during the free throws, and her first touch results in a turnover. Saints basketball up by 3, 4 minutes and 15 seconds into the second half. Gieske looking low for Elward and has the ball kicked by Charlotte Flynn. Saints will inbound with 20 on the shot clock. Gieske on the sideline. Gets it into Leah Sims. Martins tried to take it away. Sims has a free pass. Now out to Jordan Pyle. Pyle puts it on the ground, lays it up, no, but a foul. And Jordan Pyle's going to the line for 2. First foul called on Kylie Robleski this year, or this game. Certainly not the first time she's been called for a foul in 7 games played. Jordan Pyle does make the first free throw, 10 of 13 from the foul line this season, make it 10 of 14, 71%. Saints lead by 4. Biggest lead in the early going has been 5. They were up 5-0. St. Ambrose has connected on just 1 shot so far. The drive from Charlotte Flynn going up against Gieske. She runs into a double team and passes outside. Nearly traveled. Pass low for Robleski, knocked away by Elward and out of bounds with 8 on the shot clock. The Bees have just had no success getting the ball into the paint. Trying to feed Kylie Robleski. Elward and Gieske have been way too tough on her downstairs. Here's a pass to Robleski. This time she does make the catch, but misses the open layup. Rebound to Gieske. Finally, they get a clean path to her, and she's not able to finish, but the Saints throw it away, and St. Ambrose comes away with the takeaway. Martin's drive, she's bumped on the floor. Careless pass from St. Francis. They did not handle the ball on that last possession. Easy takeaway for St. Ambrose. And that leads to the foul being called on this end of the floor. Leah Sims called for her first. It's the first on the team. 4:55 to play in the quarter. Prestegard throws it up top. She's got Maddie Cash, and Cash passes to Charlotte Flynn on the left side. Flynn drives on Gieske. Scoop shot is good. Good drive there by Charlotte Flynn. St. Ambrose is back within 2. Saints basketball. Leah Sims up top to Gieske. Gieske walks to the right. Passes back up top. Shadrian McDaniel. McDaniel in the post to Elwood. Elwood backs in, turns to her right, and banks it in. Good post move by Caitlin Elwood. She's got 8 of her team's 9, and the Saints lead by 4. Par for the course for St. Francis. Elwood's been doing the lion's share of the scoring for them all year. Today so far, no exception. She's put her team up early. Maddie Epperson outside around a screen, fires a 3, way off. Long rebound goes out to Gieske. Gieske's been pounding the boards here in the first quarter. Leah Sims trying to turn it into points on the other end. She bounces it out towards McDaniel, but Sims is called for the foul. A charge on Leah Sims. She extended her elbow before making the pass, and that's the second foul on Sims. She'll have to check out. Actually, they're bringing Acosta in for Gieske. Steve Brooks leaves Leah Sims on the floor with 2 fouls. Just under 4 minutes to play in the first quarter. 4-point lead for the Fighting Saints. Epperson passes over to Prestegard. This is Maddie Cash. Back to Prestegard. Half the shot clock is gone. Charlotte Flynn lobs it down low, and again it's batted away by Elwood. This time loose ball, though, is picked up by Prestegard, and she draws the foul. Elwood deflected away another pass down low for Kylie Robleski. They have not been able to get her the ball in this first quarter. But Prestegard was Johnny on the spot, picking up the loose ball after the deflection from Elwood. And she gets her first 2 free throw attempts of the game. Substitute for St. Ambrose. Madeline Prestegard comes in. The slightly older Prestegard, as the young freshman Janie Prestegard makes the first free throw and makes it 9-6. 80% from the line so far this season. Prestegard's second shot hits the front iron and rolls in. St. Ambrose is within 2. 9-7 is our score. Here's Shadrian McDaniel. McDaniel bounces it towards the top, swings it around Leah Sims on the left side. Up to Jordan Pyle. Now Elwood tries another 3-pointer. This one misses, and the rebound goes to Jamie Martins. St. Ambrose fires down low for Prestegard. This is Madeline Prestegard handing it off to Abby Lonick. Lonick gives it up to Janie Prestegard, and they try it again from the corner. Prestegard up top to Madeline Prestegard. Free throw line jumper off the backboard, does not go. Saints basketball with a 1-possession lead. Elwood into the corner, Jordan Pyle, open look. Misses on the 3, rebound to Prestegard. Bounce down low, Janie Prestegard banks it in. Prestegard's got 3. I had her as making both free throws a few moments ago, only made one of the 2, so she makes it a 1-point game at 9-8. Leah Sims for 3, that misses, rebounded by Madeline Prestegard. St. Ambrose can take their first lead of the night on this possession. Martins feeds Lonick inside. Lonick is blocked by McDaniel. Good defense by Shadrian McDaniel. Here come the Fighting Saints. They've gone cold offensively. Elwood trying to turn that around. Her 3-point attempt misses off to the right. Long rebound to McDaniel. Elwood is still the only Saint to have scored from the field here in this first quarter. Jordan Pyle gives it to McDaniel. She tries to add her name to the scoreboard, but misses on a long two. And the rebound goes to St. Ambrose. Second chance here for the Fighting Bees to take their first lead. Lonick on the right, guarded loosely by McDaniel. Up top, Martins. Martins no-look pass to her left. It's Prestegard. Brings it down into the corner. Martins back outside. This is Cash with 5 to shoot. Maddie Cash spins down the lane, throws up a wild shot and right out of bounds. Trying to draw the foul from Shadrian McDaniel, but didn't get the call, and so it's a turnover. Allie Hernandez checks in for Leah Sims for the Saints. 9-8, St. Francis leads, a minute and 12 seconds to play in the first period. Here's McDaniel. Alward to the left. Jordan Pyle down to the corner. Allie Hernandez. Hernandez steps out, gives it up to Pyle. Pyle walks to the right. Passes down into the corner. Hernandez for 3. Got it. And finally, another Fighting Saint is on the board. Jordan Pyle also has 1 point, but that's the first field goal from anyone not named Caitlin Alward, and the Saints are back up by 4, one off their largest lead of the quarter. We're into the final minute of the first. This is Janie Prestegard. Looking up top, she finds Cash. Down low for Madeline Prestegard. It's taken away, but a foul is called. Foul on St. Ambrose. Foul is called after the ball had already been stolen. Madeline Prestegard reached in trying to get it back. So a clean steal for the Fighting Saints and a turnover. The shot clock is, for all intents and purposes, not a factor here. Just 0.2 of a second difference between shot and game clock. Pyle up to Alward. Allie Hernandez on the right wing. Saints are playing their regular offense, not looking to set up the final shot here. They move it around the perimeter, and Alward is fouled. The Bees still did have 1 to give. It's the first foul on Abby Lonick, and with 8.6 on the clock. If the Saints are fouled again here, they will go to the free throw line. Pyle gets it into Hernandez. Allie Hernandez hit the three-pointer a few moments ago. She gives it to Pyle, and Pyle is fouled on the floor. That puts St. Ambrose over the limit. 2 fouls on this final possession. And St. Francis has a chance from the line now. Jordan Pyle hit 1 of 2 from this spot a few minutes ago. And now her second chance at the line. She misses the first. That foul was on Madeline Prestegard, her second in just a couple of minutes of action. Pyle makes 1 of 2 for the second straight time. 5-point lead for the Saints. 2 seconds left in the quarter. Martins all the way to the hoop. She's fouled just before the buzzer. Jamie Martins draws the foul, and she'll get 2 free throws. Credit to Jamie Martins. She flew down the floor. They only had 4 seconds after that made free throw from Jordan Pyle. Martins went racing down the floor, drew the contact just before the buzzer sounded. And I think they're going to put a little bit of time back on the clock. 0.4 of a second. So both teams put rebounders back out there. The Saints just need to ensure that St. Ambrose can't get a tip if Martins misses the second. She makes the first, so it's 13-9. Second foul shot here for Martins. She makes them both. Jordan Pyle whips it down the floor. Allie Hernandez does not have time to get it off. It went in, but with just 0.4 of a second, no real time to take the turn towards the basket. That would have to have been a very quick catch and shoot. So the Saints are not able to get the last second 3, but what they do get is a lead at the end of 1 quarter. St. Francis 13, St. Ambrose 10. Take a quick break here. Back in a moment with the second quarter. Second quarter here in Joliet. St. Francis leads St. Ambrose by a 13-10 count. Saints led the entire first period. St. Ambrose inched a little bit closer with 2 free throws at the buzzer, just before the buzzer at the end of the first quarter. So it's a one-score game as St. Ambrose gets the first possession of the second period. Kylie Robleski drives and draws the foul. Robleski had a very quiet first quarter. The freshman came into play today averaging 13 points and 8 rebounds per game. Both of those were team leads. Shadron McDaniel picks up her second foul and immediately checks out in favor of Paige Gieske. Robleski misses on the first free throw. 85% foul shooter this year, so that was a rare miss. Trying to make it 1 out of 2. She does indeed. 13-11. That first quarter for the Saints featured 8 points for Caitlin Aylward. The rest of the team combined for just 5. Aylward holds the ball right now. She walks it to the right, hands it to Pyle. Jordan Pyle cuts inside, pulls up, throws a shot, and misses wide to the right. St. Ambrose takes it back. They can tie or take the lead here. Epperson bounced it to Robleski, hounded by Pyle, and Jordan Pyle is called for a foul, and that's always a big gaffe for a defender. You never want to foul somebody that far from the basket. She was close to the half-court line as Pyle picks up her first foul of the game. Already the second on the Saints here in the quarter. Jamie Martins gets the screen as she dribbles to the right, picks it up at the elbow, and bounces back to her left. Robleski has the ball poked away by Aylward, gets it back though, and throws inside to Martins. Kick back out to Flynn. Charlotte Flynn misses on the 3. Rebounded by Paige Gieske. Both teams have been pulled from the field here in the first half. Saints will try to start their turnaround on this possession. Jordan Pyle, long 3. No good. Acosta comes flying in, and Acosta wrestles the rebound out of the hands of Colleen Grady. Great work right there by Acosta. Paige Gieske looks for help, finds Aylward, 11 to shoot. Caitlin Aylward dribbles to the top of the key. Back to Gieske, who gets the screen from Aylward. To the right side, it's Acosta in the corner, flipping across court. Jordan Pyle drives with 1 on the shot clock, has to hoist it up, no good. Offensive rebound. Acosta can't get the putback, and Andriana Acosta is called for the foul on the loose ball. Saints had 2 chances there, missed them both. And as Acosta tried to earn a 3rd chance, she's called for her first foul. It's already the team's 3rd with 8:18 to play in the second period. Neither team has converted from the field yet in the quarter. Just 1 point belongs to St. Ambrose. Martins can't extend that 1 point. She misses the runner, rebound to Aylward. Here's Ali Hernandez. Caitlin Aylward at the top, walking to the left. Looked for Gieske on the backdoor cut. Well defended though. Acosta hands it to Jordan Pyle, 13 to shoot. Pyle drives on Robleski, kicks it outside. Acosta step back jumper, no good from long 2-point range. The rebound goes to Colleen Grady. St. Ambrose on the run. Martins has it poked away from behind by Acosta. And now it's the Saints' turn to run. Gieske cuts inside, passes out into the corner. Aylward drills the 3. Aylward is up to 11 points in the first half, and her team has got a 5-point edge on St. Ambrose, 16-11. Bees basketball. Epperson to Robleski. Lob down low, Grady going one-on-one with Acosta, and Hernandez reaches her hand in. Ali Hernandez called for the foul with Grady going up for 2. Ball got lodged between the backboard and the rim, and somebody will have to dislodge that. Oh, there we go. Bring John Ford over, the assistant coach. No props necessary. First free throw is good from Colleen Grady. Grady's got her first point of the night. St. Ambrose is within 4. Second shot is good. She makes them both. One possession game once again as we near the 7-minute mark. Saints have brought Josie Graffio into the game. Graffio lobs it downstairs for Kayla Alward backing in against Grady. Alward puts up a shot and draws the foul. Epperson came over for the double team. I think Epperson's the one who made the final contact. Maddie Epperson picks up her first foul. It's the first on the team. Alward gets 2 free throws as she was in the act of shooting. She makes the first. Kayla Alward right now has 12 points. The rest of the players on both teams combined have 18. So everybody in this game, minus Kayla Alward, is only outscoring Alward by 5 right now. And the Saints are outscoring St. Ambrose by 5. Colleen Grady backs in along the baseline. She kicks it outside. Here's a drive from Flynn. Charlotte Flynn lays it in. Good drive by Flynn as the Saints inbound to Paige Gieske. Gieske is picked up by Epperson. Bounced underneath to Alward, backing in. She loses the ball. It's loose at the baseline and picked up inbounds by Robleski. 3-point game. St. Ambrose has the ball with the deficit. This is Flynn picking up her dribble, passes off to Epperson. Epperson walks into the right, crosses back to the left side at the top of the key. She finds Flynn. Around the screen from Robleski. Outside. 5 to shoot. Epperson bounces to the left, fires a 3, no good. Alward gets herself in position and taps that rebound to Graffio. Ali Hernandez to Graffio on the offensive end for St. Francis. It's Alward. Top of the key, Acosta. Handoff to Ali Hernandez. Fire to the left. Paige Gieske looks low. Can't get Alward. Now she's in some trouble. Finally gives it away to Graffio. Shot clock is under 10. Alward in the paint. Backs in. Turns around to her right. Fadeaway hook shot is good. Another nice looking post move from Caitlin Alward. She's got 15 of her team's 18 points. Actually, sorry, 15 of her team's 20 points. She's tied with St. Ambrose overall right now as the Fighting Bees will get a chance from the free throw line to move closer. Foul was called on Josie Graffio, her first. And it sends Charlotte Flynn to the free throw line, where she'll get a pair of shots. Kayla Alward gets her first rest of the game with 5:05 to play in the first half. Jordan Pyle got a quick breather. She's back in. Flynn misses on the first free throw. One out of 2. It's a 4-point game. Saints basketball. Ali Hernandez dribbles it up the floor. Leah Sims back in for the Fighting Saints. Sims is playing with 2 fouls. Gieske picks it up, passes into the corner. Acosta down the baseline, going up over Prestigard. Strong finish by Acosta. Saints have their biggest lead tonight, 6 points. St. Ambrose quickly tries to cut it in half and does. Charlotte Flynn left alone from the left side, and Flynn knocks down a 3, 22-19. The Fighting Saints have not trailed. We haven't been tied since the first minute of the game. Saints have led the entire way, but it's been close, and now they turn it over. The ball is sent into the backcourt. Leah Sims touches up for the over and back. And it's a one-possession game again with 4:21 to play. St. Ambrose can potentially tie the score here. Maddie Epperson passes to her right. This is Gabrielle Kelker giving it up to Charlotte Flynn. Back to Kelker. Kelker drives with the left hand, picks it up, passes outside. Jordan Pyle tries to jump in front of the pass there, and she ends up called for the foul. She put her arm on the back of Kylie Wroblewski as she reached around her. That puts the Saints over the limit. And so 2 free throws here for Wroblewski as Pyle commits her second foul. She and Leah Sims, 2 starters, both playing with 2 fouls. As Wroblewski makes the first free throw. 22-20. Wroblewski hits the second free throw as well. Saints lead is down to 1. Allie Hernandez's 3-pointer late in the first quarter remains the only non-Caitlin Aylward field goal in the game so far for St. Francis. Aylward is at the scorer's table right now. She'll check it at the next whistle. Sims gives it to Hernandez. Kicked outside on the right. It's Jordan Pyle who drives and lays it in. Good fake by Jordan Pyle. She's able to get it to the hoop and finish strong for her 3rd and 4th points. The lead is back to 3. Epperson steps into a long 2 and makes it a 1-point game again. Nice looking stroke from Maddie Epperson. Here's Allie Hernandez, 2-pointer from just beyond the free throw line. No good, rebounded by Prestegard. Janie Prestegard sends it the other way. Kelker gives it up to Flynn. Charlotte Flynn drives, spins into the paint, rolls it up, no good. Offensive rebound, Wroblewski, yes, and a foul. St. Ambrose takes their first lead of the night, and now an opportunity to make it a 3-point play with 3:07 to go in the first half. Caitlin Aylward is in for Jordan Pyle, who has 2 fouls. Adriana Acosta just picked up her second foul. And the free throw is good from Wroblewski. She's got 6 points and a 2-point lead for St. Ambrose. They've gone on a 10-2 run here, most of that with Caitlin Aylward out of the game. And now she checks back in. She travels on her first touch. Quick shuffle of the feet from the senior forward, Caitlin Aylward. And the Saints, with an unforced error, turn the ball back over to St. Ambrose, who can extend their lead from 2. There's Wroblewski on the drive, pulls up the baseline, passes out to Epperson. Up top, Kelker. Kelker drives with the left hand, fires it outside. Charlotte Flynn with under 10 to shoot. Backs it on Gieske, into the corner, Prestegard, back to Flynn. With 4 on the shot clock, Flynn fires a 3, no good. Offensive rebound to Prestegard. 2:25 to play in the half. St. Ambrose starts again. Prestegard to Flynn. Again, the shot clock starts to run down. Wroblewski backs it on Aylward. Trying to get position. Forces it up, no good. Defense was too stout there from Caitlin Aylward. Acosta came down with the rebound. Saints ball down by 2. Allie Hernandez gets it off to Leah Sims. Sims up to Gieske. Paige Gieske dribbles to the left hand, cuts it back to the right, and sends it into the corner for Hernandez. 10 seconds to shoot. Caitlin Aylward steps back, shoots a 3 and hits. That's been the recipe for success today. When in doubt, give the ball to Caitlin Aylward. She's got 18 of her team's 27. And the Saints are back in front by 1. They've led for the vast majority of this first half. This is Epperson on the right side for St. Ambrose. Epperson drives on Sims, pulls up from the foul line, misses on the jumper, and Gieske comes away with the rebound. Paige Gieske weaves between a couple of defenders, now takes it all the way to the basket and lays it in. Gieske caught St. Ambrose's defenders flat-footed and took advantage, just blew right on by for her first 2 points of the night. Fresh off of a career-high 19 in the Fighting Saints last game. She gets her first 2 points in the final minute of the first half tonight. Wroblewski drives on Aylward and fouled by Gieske. Paige Gieske came across and reached in. That was what she was called for. 2 shots coming up for St. Ambrose as they are in the bonus. Wroblewski 3 of 4 from the line so far tonight. She hits the first here, and it's a 2-point game. Second shot is good. 47.5 seconds to play. First half, 29-28, St. Francis. Allie Hernandez across half court. Looks over the middle, couldn't find the cutter she was looking for. Here's Alwood up top to Acosta. Acosta bounces to the right, hands it off to Gieske. Gieske stands from long range, drives left side, blocked by Prestegard, but a foul is called on Janie Prestegard. Freshman forward Janie Prestegard whistled for her first foul. 2 shots for Gieske. First one is good. Paige Gieske hasn't had too many attempts from the line this year. She's 5 of 6 and now 6 of 7. 3-point game. This will likely be the last chance of the half for St. Ambrose, which means likely at worst St. Francis's lead will be gone and it will be a tie game. One way or another, that does not look like they'll be losing headed into halftime. Martins throws it away, deflected out by Elwert. 8.5 seconds to play. Second quarter. St. Ambrose will inbound from underneath St. Francis's basket. Six seconds and Prestegard travels. With 5.9 on the clock, the Fighting Saints have the opportunity to go the length of the floor and get a couple more points here before halftime. They've led almost the entire way. Their biggest lead has been 6. That was a 22-16. Gieske having trouble getting the ball in. She throws it away. It's tracked down by Robleski. Now she's got to hurry with 3 seconds on the clock. Cash is called for the travel. 0.8 seconds on the clock. That was a big mistake by Robleski. If she just let that ball go out of bounds, St. Ambrose would have had an inbounds play on their offensive end of the floor. Instead, they turn it over. St. Francis not able to get anything off before the half. And the buzzer sounds with our score, St. Francis 31, St. Ambrose 28. Fighting Saints were hot and cold in that first half. Mostly Kaylin Elward was hot. The rest of the team was cold. She scored 18 of her team's 31 points. But St. Francis did start to find some more contributions toward the end of the second period. We'll see if that can carry over to the other side of the half. 31-28 our score right now. St. Francis in front. We'll get you half number 2 about 15 minutes from now. Stick around. This is St. Francis basketball on the USF Sports Network. second half, just moments away from beginning. St. Francis against St. Ambrose here in Joliet. Terry Bonadonna with you on the call as the Fighting Saints try to improve their record to 6-2 on the season and stay perfect. Both teams, in fact, are trying to stay perfect in conference play. Saints lead by 3. It was a bit of a rocky road getting there, and they relied very heavily on their star, Caitlin Elwood. She got 18 of the team's 31 points. She's 6 of 8 from the field. The rest of the team 4 for 15. Elwood has gone 3 for 5 on 3-pointers. The rest of the team just 1 for 5. But fortunately for the Saints, and in large part because of the Saints' strong defense, St. Ambrose has not shot the ball very well either. They're just 7 of 21 and 2 for 8 from three-point land. Their leading scorer, tied with 8 points apiece, Charlotte Flynn and Kylie Robleski. Janie Prestigard has come off the bench for a team-high 5 rebounds for St. Ambrose. Fighting Saints are led by Paige Gieske, who's got 5 rebounds. Gieske's had a pretty nice night overall, 4 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. She has, though, turned the ball over 3 times. Turnovers have been a problem for both teams. 9 for the Saints, 8 for St. Ambrose. We're back underway here in the second half. Saints get the ball first. They're going the other way now, left to right on your screen. Shadrian McDaniel takes it. Passed inside to McDaniel. She lays it in off the feed from Jordan Pyle. Nice ball movement, a good finish by McDaniel, and a strong start to the second half for the Fighting Saints. Their lead is 5. Their biggest lead so far today is 6, but they held the lead for nearly 18 minutes of the first half as Charlotte Flynn draws the foul going up. She's got 2 free throws, and fortunately for the Saints, that foul is on Gieske. That's her first. That is a concern for St. Francis right now, fouls overall. They've got 5 different players already with 2 fouls in the game. The first free throw is good from Flynn. Gieske was the only one who had appeared for St. Francis today who hadn't picked up a foul. Now they all have. Free throws have really kept St. Ambrose in the game as Flynn makes them both here. They are +7 from the free throw strike. Leah Sims will try to cut into that deficit, though, as she drives to the basket, and she draws the foul on the layup. 2 free throws coming up for Sims. Leah Sims is 5 of 6 from the line this year. Foul is on Jamie Martins, and that is Martins' first foul. First free throw is good for Sims. St. Ambrose not nearly in the same foul trouble that St. Francis is. They have just 1 player with more than 1 foul, and that's Madeline Prestigard, who only played 4 minutes in the first half off the bench. Sims goes 2 for 2. Saints back up by 5. Colleen Grady passes off to the right. It's Flynn. Up top to Epperson. Jamie Martins back to Epperson. McDaniel on her. Grady back over to Flynn. Flynn lobs it down low. Robleski misses from underneath. Jordan Pyle got in her way and impacted the shot. Caitlin Elwood going the other way with it. Off to Leah Sims. Step back to Elwood on the left wing. Guarded very tightly by Grady. Caitlin Elwood passes to Leah Sims up top, 15 to shoot. Sims drives and kicks to Pyle. Jordan Pyle for 3? No. Rebound to Charlotte Flynn. Pyle 0 of 3 now on 3-point attempts in the game. Martin's in the corner. Passes out to Flynn, nearly overshot her. Flynn's able to keep the ball close though. Down low to Robleski. Robleski backing in on Elwood, and Elwood forces her out towards the free throw line. 8 seconds on the shot clock. It's Maddie Epperson. Epperson tries to spin around Sims. She kicks it out to Flynn. Flynn shot blocked by Gieske. The ball loose, and it's a shot clock violation. So add a block to Paige Gieske's stat line. She's got at least 1 block, steal, assist, rebound, and point now. And it leads to the shot clock violation and a turnover. Saints basketball up by 5. Sims gives it to Pyle on the left wing. Up top to Caitlin Elwood. Over to Sims on the right wing. Sims fires down low to Elwood against a double team. She's fouled on the floor. Foul called on St. Ambrose before the shot. It goes against Colleen Grady. That's Grady's second foul. It's the team's second. Gieske in the corner. Three-pointer is good. Paige Gieske extends St. Francis's lead to 8. That's as big as it's been all night, 38-30. They've come out strong here in the second half, especially defensively, but Jamie Martins throws a runner in off the glass to stop that St. Francis run. It's the first field goal of the second half for St. Ambrose. Aylward tries to answer and does, and then some. A three-pointer for Caitlin Aylward, a timeout called by St. Francis, and the Fighting Saints have their biggest lead of the night. 41-32 is our score. Caitlin Aylward has already got 21 points. Entering play today, Aylward was averaging better than 22 points per game in conference play. She has scored double figures now in all but 2 games, and she's over 20 for the second consecutive contest, and we're still early in the second half. Only 2 minutes and 44 seconds have gone by in the third quarter. Timeout was just the second called today by St. Francis. 30-second stoppage. The Saints come back on the floor with their 5 starters. St. Ambrose brings their offense back in. They've got their 5 starters on the floor as well. See if St. Francis sets up a different defense here coming out of the timeout. Looks like they're in a straight man. Jamie Martins dribbles it across half court. Martins around the screen, cuts to the hoop, kicks outside. This is Epperson. Epperson backs it up to the midcourt circle. Out to the top of the key, it's Grady. Grady drives on Pyle, kicks it back. Flynn looking for help with under 10 to shoot. Epperson to the right side, has it poked away. Loose ball picked up by Robleski. Into the corner, Flynn drives the baseline. Down low to Grady. Grady, as the shot clock expires, forces it up over Leah Sims and scores. Strong finish by Colleen Grady. A 30-second possession, but St. Ambrose ends up with 2. Here's McDaniel. McDaniel cuts to the hoop, and McDaniel misses off the backboard. Here's Maddie Epperson. Epperson to the corner, fired down low. Grady, Colleen Grady over Aylward. No, gets her own rebound, back up with it, got it. 4 in a row for St. Ambrose. Their biggest deficit of the game of 9, cut quickly back to 5. Just over 6 minutes to play in the third quarter. McDaniel's pass towards the top of the key is intercepted, nearly, but Paige Gieske tracks down the loose ball. Out to Leah Sims, and Sims hits on her first three-pointer of the game. Leah Sims has 5 points. That's her first basket from the field. She had 2 free throws earlier in the night, and the lead is back up to 8 for the Fighting Saints. Their offense has been taken to a different level here in the third quarter. Players aside from Aylward starting to heat up as Robleski misses on the drive. Rebound goes to Caitlin Aylward. Saints slow things down a tad. It's Aylward on the right wing, guarded by Grady. Looking around, finds Gieske up top. Paige Gieske drives. Gieske's layup is good. And Gieske's got 9 points. Now the Saints are really spreading it around, scoring from all over the floor, and their lead is up to double digits for the first time. Martins cuts it back to 8 on the runner. Leah Sims thought that she pushed off, didn't get the call. Jamie Martins has 6. Sims tries to answer on the other end. She makes the shot, but doesn't count. Fouled before she got it up. So the Saints will inbound, and they'll reset the possession. Second foul on Maddie Epperson. It's the freshman Janie Prestegard checks back in for St. Ambrose. Allie Hernandez comes on for St. Francis. Hernandez played some strong first half minutes. In fact, she was out there for the majority of the first half. After a couple of her teammates got into foul trouble, they switched the foul call. It's on Martins rather than Epperson. So it's the second on Jamie Martins, and a timeout is called. 4:58 to play, third quarter. St. Francis 46, St. Ambrose 38. The Saints have extended what was a 3-point lead at the half. St. Ambrose has led only once today. They were up 25-24. St. Francis came right back, hit a shot on their next possession, and they've led ever since. They have led pretty much the entire way, all but 2 minutes and 21 seconds so far. St. Francis has been on top, and they've played 25 minutes and 2 seconds overall. Hernandez, Sims, McDaniel, Pyle, and Elward on the floor for St. Francis out of the timeout. St. Ambrose counters with Robleski, Janey Prestegard, Martins, Epperson, and Flynn. Pyle is the inbounder. She bounces right underneath the basket to Caitlin Elward. She misses, but the offensive rebound goes to Pyle. Right back into Elward. She scores and one. Saints stick with it. It didn't work the first time for Caitlin Elward. Offensive rebound to Pyle, gave it right back to Caitlin Elward. And then she scores her 22nd and 23rd points of the game. And a chance now for her 24th. Jordan Pyle did not have an assist in the first half tonight. She's got a couple of them already in the second half. Came in as the team's leading assister. Elward makes the free throw. The lead is now 11 for St. Francis, 24 points for Caitlin Elward. Her season high is 29. Shadrian McDaniel has whistled for her third foul on the hand check of Jamie Martins. 5 Saints went into halftime with 2 fouls. McDaniel becomes the first one to pick up her third of the night. Grady out to Flynn. Flynn on the outside. Hassled by Acosta. Passed over to the left, Maddie Epperson. 10 seconds to shoot here for Jamie Martins. She gives it to Grady. Colleen Grady hands it back to Flynn. Steps in, 2-point jumper, no. Rebound to Acosta. Jordan Pyle having some trouble handling it, but she's able to keep the dribble alive. Pass off to Ali Hernandez. Saints set up their offense. Elward up to Pyle, swung around to the right side, into the corner McDaniel. McDaniel pulls up at the right elbow. Looking for Elward. She bounces it into her. Elward backs in, and she's fouled on the floor. That was the 5th team foul. So that sends Elward to the free throw line for 2 shots. It's the 3rd foul on Colleen Grady, who's had her hands full all night with Elward. First free throw rattles home. Grady has not done a poor job guarding Elward, but Elward has been able to capitalize every time she has gotten herself a good shot. She makes this one as well, 51-38. Caitlin Elward's got 26. They've been trying to get her the ball, though, and she hasn't been touching it on every possession. That is in large part due to some tough defense from Colleen Grady, but Grady might be running out of steam a little bit. She's picked up a couple of fouls here in the third. This is Grady on the offensive side. She misses too strong on a baseline jumper. Acosta on the ground reaches for that rebound and forces the tie-up. Possession arrow favors St. Francis. I guess it does not. And it favors St. Ambrose. Grady drives, kicks into the corner. Long 2 is good for Abby Lonick, and they do call it a 3. Abby Lonick makes it a 10-point game. Her first 3-pointer of the night, her first 3 points of the night. Here's Gieske up to Pyle. Jordan Pyle fires underneath for Acosta. Acosta fights to the basket and scores. Acosta's got her second field goal of the night. Martins to the free throw line, finds Grady, jumper is good. And now the teams are trading baskets as St. Ambrose calls a 30-second timeout. It's been a defensive struggle all night. But now late in the third quarter, both offenses are starting to get hot. The score was 31-28 at halftime, a low-scoring half. Here in the second half, though, the Saints already have 22 on the board in just 7 minutes. And St. Ambrose has scored 15 in that same period. 3:02 officially on the clock, remaining in the third quarter. And for St. Francis, it's been an easy recipe for adding to their point total. They've been able to spread the ball around and get a few other players in rhythm. In that first half, other than Caitlin Elward, nobody had their shots falling. Just 4 of 15 was the team aside from Elward. Sims and Hernandez are the guards for the Saints out of the timeout. Acosta, Gieske, and Elward are the forwards. Leah Sims handles the ball without any pressure in the backcourt. Allie Hernandez on the right wing. Flown to the right side, Elward. Elward passes to Gieske. Bounce down low for Acosta. Acosta kicks it around. Sims. Bounce low for Elward. Caitlin Elward lays it in and draws the foul. I think that was the first time tonight St. Ambrose went to a zone defense. And the Saints were still able to find their big man inside and get a clean layup, even against that tight zone. Elward's got 28 points. She makes it 29 from the line. 56-43. Elward has got 29 now in back-to-back games. Saints are starting to pull away. Lonick trying to prevent that. She kicks it into the corner for Flynn. Charlotte Flynn back to Abby Lonick. Lonick along the baseline, bounces it outside. Up top, here's a drive, kicked inside for the steal. It's Caitlin Elward jumping in front. Paige Gieske swung around to Elward, long three. It's short, and the rebound sails out of bounds. Elward stole the ball on the other end. Had a pretty good look for a three-pointer on offense and wasn't quite able to get it to go, but it's a nice sequence for St. Francis up until the missed shot. Elward now checks out, and we've got our first appearance tonight of Lacey Gardner. St. Ambrose will try to make a run with the Saints leading scorer out. Here's a drive from Flynn, stripped out of bounds by Leah Sims. It'll stay with St. Ambrose with 18 to shoot. Flynn checks out. Natty Cash is in for the Fighting Bees. Jamie Martins. Martins gets it in down low. Prestegard up with it over Gieske and in. Janie Prestegard's got 5 points now. She's had a nice night off the bench. Allie Hernandez passes it outside to Lacey Gardner. Round to the left, Sims into the corner, Hernandez. Hernandez looks inside, dribbles back out, finds Acosta on the baseline. Acosta out to Gardner, three-point attempt for Lacey Gardner is no good. And the rebound goes to Maddie Cash. Just the third three-point attempt this season from Lacey Gardner. Made one of them. Prestegard left open on the right block, and she knocks it in off the backboard. So 4 straight points for St. Ambrose. Leah Sims for the answer. No. Rebounded by Maddie Cash. Final minute of play, third quarter. Cash drives to the left. Cash backing in on Sims. Fires to the cutting Lonick, who can't handle it. It's intercepted by Acosta. Saints look like they're going to take their time here. Play for just one possession rather than shooting to give themselves an opportunity for the 2-for-1. It's Acosta on the baseline, bouncing back out to Leah Sims. Shot clock is at 7. Hernandez to Gardner. Gardner pump fakes, drives. Gardner pulls up, 1 to shoot. Hernandez hurls a three-pointer, misses everything, and a shot clock violation. Saints took it nice and slow on their likely last possession of the third quarter. And they were not able to get a good look in the end there. Gardner gave it up to Hernandez, and Hernandez had no option other than to just throw it towards the hoop. Here's Lonick. Prestegard swings it around. Robleski to Cash. 7 seconds to play in the corner. Cash dribbles to the left, hounded by Gieske. She's in trouble. Just 2 seconds now. Here's Martins, and Martins can't get it off on time. Wouldn't have counted even if it did go in. St. Ambrose scores the final 4 points of the quarter, but at the end of 3, it's still St. Francis 56, St. Ambrose 47. Quick break. We'll be back with the fourth quarter as the Saints try to put away the Bees at home. We come out for the fourth quarter with St. Francis leading 56-47. They've got the ball as we are underway in the period. Paige Gieske holds it on the right wing for the Saints. Back up top to Caitlin Aylward, who returns to the game. She has been the star of the show today. More than half of St. Francis's points belong to Caitlin Aylward. She's fouled by Robleski down underneath the basket. That's on the floor. And so the Saints will inbound from the baseline here. Third foul on Kylie Robleski. Robleski hasn't put up quite her usual numbers today. They had a lot of trouble getting her the ball in the first half. Aylward backs in. Against 3 defenders, she bounces to Acosta. Out to Sims. Now Aylward at the top of the key. Sims once again gets the screen, steps to her right, fires the 3 and hits. 59-47 St. Francis. 8 points for the junior guard Leah Sims. St. Ambrose basketball. They've trailed the entire night, leading only briefly by a single point as Robleski gets the layup on a nice pass. She's able to finish it off to make it a 10-point game. 10 points now for Robleski. Aylward on the right side for St. Francis. Up top, Gieske to the free throw line, McDaniel. Aylward for 3. Off the back iron. Rebound tipped out to Leah Sims. Here's Shadrian McDaniel. McDaniel swings it around. Aylward into the corner for Sims. Sims thought about another 3. This time, though, she passes it up. 7 seconds on the shot clock for Paige Gieske. Sims now does try another 3. This one a little bit too strong. Offensive rebound, Acosta. Saints have used up nearly a minute already on this possession. Aylward, nice feed to Acosta, who makes the reverse layup. Outstanding possession for St. Francis. They missed a couple of shots. Got a pair of offensive rebounds, though. Used up close to a minute off the clock and ended up with 2 points out of it. 6 points for Acosta. Drive and kick to Charlotte Flynn. Flynn drives around Acosta, loses the ball. It's on the floor, knocked towards the baseline, and I think Acosta touched the out-of-bounds line as she tried to corral it. So it'll stay with St. Ambrose with just 7 seconds on the shot clock. Prestegard back in for Colleen Brady. Ball goes into Prestegard. Down to the right, Epperson fires a 3 with the shot clock running down. No good. Rebounded by Gieske. Saints looking to put this game out of reach. Leah Sims on the left. Starts to drive. Shovels it back to Aylward. Aylward drives, kicks to McDaniel. McDaniel gives it right back. Aylward to McDaniel. Open 3. Good. Shadrian McDaniel's got 5 points. The lead is now a game-high 15. And Caitlin Elwood, who scored 29 points through the first 3 quarters, has 2 assists here in the 4th. Janie Prestegard misses on the runner, offensive rebound Robleski, and she draws the foul going up. 2 shots coming for Kylie Robleski. Jordan Pyle and Justine Charlesworth come in for Caitlin Elwood and Leah Sims. 7.5 minutes still to play here, so there's a good chance we'll see Sims and Elwood back in the game, but Steve Brooks would love it if this team could just keep on pulling away and not have to bring those starters back in. First free throw is missed by Robleski. Second shot misses as well. Robleski, a very strong free throw shooter. A rare occurrence there, missed them both. 15-point lead for the Saints. Here's McDaniel to the right, it's Gieske. Pyle to McDaniel, 12 to shoot. McDaniel passes inside to a cutting Acosta. Good ball movement out to the right corner. 3-pointer misses from Gieske. Rebound tipped out to Jordan Pyle. Keeps it on the right side of the floor. Saints start over here on offense and move it to the left side. Just Pyle up top to Charlesworth, over the right wing, Shadrian McDaniel. McDaniel with 3 on the shot clock, fires a 3 and hits. The lead is up to 17 for St. Francis. That was a 2-pointer for Shadrian McDaniel. She's up to 6 points in the game, make that 7 points in the game. Martins is bumped on the drive and was on the shot, so she'll go to the line for 2. 17-point lead for the Fighting Saints. They drift further and further away here in the second half. St. Francis scored 31 points in the first half. They scored 25 in the third quarter alone, as Martins hits the first free throw. And St. Ambrose just hasn't been able to keep up with the renewed vigor of the Fighting Saints' offensive firepower. Both free throws good for Martins. 66-51, 6:20 to play. Gieske bounces over to McDaniel. McDaniel of Charlesworth cutting to the basket, misses on the layup. Rebound to Robleski. Martins out to Flynn. Charlotte Flynn drives it on McDaniel. Back outside Martins. Martins draws the contact, but no foul as she misses the runner. Rebounded by the Saints. Gieske to the corner. McDaniel thought about it. She pulls it back out. Charlesworth on the right side. Passes to a cutting McDaniel, and Lonick jumps in the way and intercepts it. It's Lonick against Charlesworth, and Charlesworth was in good position. Lonick backs it up, and they'll set up the half-court game. Robleski down low, foul. Kylie Robleski is headed to the free throw line. 4th foul on Adriana Acosta. She heads out of the game. Caitlin Elwood is back in. First foul shot is good. 66-52, 11 points for Robleski. Make it 12 as she makes both free throws. It's a 13-point margin. The Fighting Bees put on a full-court press. Here comes Jordan Pyle. Pyle steps into a 3-pointer on the right wing. It's no good, and it's rebounded by Jamie Martins. Martins working quickly. Fires across court. Charlotte Flynn slows it down. Lob down low for Robleski, who lays it in and draws the foul. All night, the Bees were having trouble getting the ball down low to Robleski. They tried and tried in the first half and just couldn't find it. She was held to just 8 points through 3 quarters. She's up to 6 points in the 4th quarter alone, and as their lead has cut from 17 down to 11, St. Francis calls a timeout with 5 minutes and 10 seconds remaining. Saints have gotten in the habit of blowing out opponents lately. In fact, one way or another, they've grown very used to playing in blowouts. Their closest game this year came on November 9th against St. Francis of Indiana. They won that game 64-52. So that 12-point margin of victory is the closest they've played this season. That's just the kind of year it's been. Their wins have been blowouts, their losses as well. They lost by 31 and 61. So right now, 66-55, 5:10 to play. The lead, I wouldn't say is comfortable, but St. Francis is certainly in pretty good shape right now. But an 11-point game with 5:10 to go for the Saints this season has been a veritable nail-biter. So Steve Brooks wants to make sure that the team is in good position to close this thing out. Don't open that door back up for the Fighting Bees. Saints have led almost the entire game. All but 2 minutes and 21 seconds. Robleski is at the free throw line. If she makes this, it'll be a 10-point game. Robleski makes it a 3-point play, 66-56, and now a team-high 15 points for Robleski, who had a pretty quiet first 3 quarters. Leah Sims receives the inbounds pass, and she works against Jamie Martins down the floor and across the timeline. McDaniel looking around. She's in some trouble. Now dribbles out of that trouble and finds Ali Hernandez. Hernandez bounces a few times and gives it up. Sims with under 10 to shoot. Sims drives, hands it off to Elwood. Elwood gets inside. Layup, yes. A new season high, 31 points for Caitlin Elwood. And the lead is back to 12. Quick three, Charlotte Flynn misses short, rebounded by Pyle. And now the Saints once again are in position to put this game away. 12-point advantage with 4.5 minutes. McDaniel to Leah Sims. Saints running some clock here. It's McDaniel once again, guarded outside by Martins. Around to the right wing, Pyle to the cutting McDaniel, overthrew her, out of bounds. .410 still to play. Gieske comes on for Pyle. Paige Gieske has had one of her better games this year, so she comes in to try to close it out. To the right side, this is Lonick. Off the backboard, she was trying to pass it inside to Prestegard and got it off the side of the backboard. It's taken away by the Saints. Gieske into the corner, 3-point attempt, Elwood. A little bit short this time, but the rebound goes to Leah Sims, and the Saints reset. Gieske again on the left wing. Up top to Leah Sims. Right wing, it's Shadrian McDaniel with a shot clock under 10. McDaniel finds a cutting Elwood. Elwood is fouled, and she's got 2 more free throws coming her way. Elwood moved over 1,600 points for her St. Francis career today. That'd be something if she were at 16,000. First shot is good for Elwood. She has scored now 61 points over her last 2 games. She misses on the second free throw. It's a 13-point St. Francis lead, just under 3.5 minutes to go. St. Ambrose needs to start getting points quickly. Lonick to Robleski. Robleski bounces into the free throw line and Prestegard, kicked out to Epperson, who hits the 3. St. Ambrose back within 10. And they get the steal. Flynn back up with it and in. And that's what I meant when I said they've got to start scoring quickly. 5 points in the span of about 3 seconds. That'll do it. 69-61, St. Ambrose back in it as St. Francis calls a timeout. 5-0 run in just a couple of seconds. A 30-second timeout for the Fighting Saints. The Saints still in pretty good shape here, but that little run just saved St. Ambrose for at least a couple of minutes. They've kept themselves in this contest. Fighting Bees have had their way with the Saints overall in this all-time series. They've won 23 of 33 all-time meetings, but the Saints haven't lost one to the Bees in 3 years, and over 3 years, nearly 4 years now. Fighting Saints have won 5 in a row. It's a very young St. Ambrose team, but give them credit. They have not gone down quietly after it looked early on in this fourth quarter like the Saints were ready to pull away. Shadrian McDaniel passes up top to Paige Gieske. Back to McDaniel on the right. Caitlin Elward around the screen. Elward spins inside, banks it home. When in need of a bucket, the Saints have given the ball to Caitlin Elward and just let her go to work. She's got 34 of her team's 71 points. Epperson steps in along too, fouled from behind by Caitlin Elward. It's her second foul, and it brings Epperson to the free throw line for 2. It's only the third time all year that Maddie Epperson has been sent to the foul line. That's the first time she's missed one. (71-61), 2:28 to play. Second free throw bounces in. 71-62. Sims and Gieske tag team to get it across half court. Paige Gieske looking for help, bounces to Allie Hernandez on the right wing. Hernandez gives it up to Caitlin Elward. Over to Gieske, left side. Half the shot clock is gone. Gieske drives, backing down in the paint and spins to her left to score off the glass. Paige Gieske, who had not scored more than 6 points in any of the team's first 6 games, is now in double figures for the second time in a row. Epperson, long three. It misses short, and the rebound bounces out of bounds, and that may have been St. Ambrose's last stand. They needed that basket badly, trailing by 11 with a minute 50 left. Acosta comes in for Sims for the Fighting Saints. Gieske into Allie Hernandez. Gieske walks it across half court. Now see if St. Francis tries to run some clock. McDaniel to the left has Gieske. Into the corner, Hernandez. Hernandez for 3. No good. Battling for the offensive rebound. McDaniel's got it. She actually wrestled that ball away from Acosta. 2 Saints were going for the board. Caitlin Elward falling away from the basket, draws the foul with a minute 23 to play. Elward heads back to the free throw line. 73-62. Saints lead. And Elward looking to put this game on ice right here. She's already got 34 points tonight. And there's number 35. (36 points for Caitlin Elward. Drive, a pull-up jumper misses from Gabrielle Kelker. McDaniel comes away with the rebound. It's knocked away from her out of bounds, last touched by St. Ambrose. Paige Gieske into Leah Sims. Sims pressured in the backcourt, gives it up to Gieske. Gieske walks it across half court in just enough time. She finds a wide open Shadrian McDaniel down low. McDaniel lays it in. Saints lead by 15 as they have pulled away once again. Pull-up jumper Epperson, and Epperson knocks it down from the corner. 77-64 is the score. Under a minute to play, Leah Sims throws it away, looking for Elward. It was out on St. Francis, trying to get Kaylin Elward one more chance to add to her point total, already a new career high for Kaylin Elward, 36 points, nearly half of her team's total of 77, as the Saints lead it by 13, 42.5 seconds on the clock, a timeout on the floor. It'll be St. Ambrose basketball coming out of the timeout, but this one appears to be elementary at this point. St. Francis appears to be on their way to 4-0 in the conference and sending St. Ambrose to their first CCAC loss this year. St. Ambrose got off to a good conference start by winning their first 2 games. I mentioned before, this is a very young team. If you look at some of their top players, today really it's been Kylie Robleski and Janie Prestegard who have led the way statistically. And those two are both freshmen. They only had one senior in their starting lineup. That's actually, I'm sorry, 2 seniors, Colleen Grady and Charlotte Flynn, but those are the only 2 seniors who have seen significant action tonight. And this is a squad that seems primed to improve as the season rolls along, just based on the amount of young talent that they've got. And certainly, they should be a team on the rise over the next couple of years as well, but not quite enough in the tank in this one. They held close for a long time, but they were scarcely able to get over the hump. Their only lead was 25-24. Other than that, it's been all St. Francis tonight. They've led for 37-plus minutes of the 39 that we've played. Knocked out of bounds by Elward. 0.6 of a second ran off the clock. And St. Ambrose will inbound again. Lonick set to toss it in. Finally finds Prestegard. Prestegard has it stripped by Hernandez, picked up by Acosta. 7 seconds differentiate the shot and game clocks here. Elward, troubled by Epperson. Looking around for help, doesn't have it. Finally, over to Shadrian McDaniel, but first a timeout was called by Steve Brooks. Saints were about a second away from a 5-second call. So Steve Brooks wanted to make sure to avoid that. 24.8 on the clock, 18 on the shot clock. And then St. Francis will talk things over one more time. Fighting Saints are back at home next week, Tuesday, against a very good Cardinal Stritch team. Back-to-back home games, and then after that, 4 out of their next 5 are on the road. They've been able to take care of business at home so far this year. This will improve them to 3-0. They can prevent them from St. Ambrose, that is, from scoring 13 points in 24 seconds. A 5-second call is made. And St. Ambrose calls timeout. It's the third timeout we've seen in the last minute of a game that is separated by 13 points. So both these coaches going hard to the end. They always have teaching moments, especially early in the season. In a game like this, both Steve Brooks and Krista Van Houwen want to make sure that their teams are playing hard to the final buzzer, whether or not the game has, for all intents and purposes, been decided. Hernandez, Gieske, McDaniel, Acosta, and Elward come out to play for the Fighting Saints. Funny, Steve Brooks called the timeout to avoid a 5-second violation. Had he not called it, Elward would have gotten the ball away in just enough time. And after the timeout, they did get called for a 5-second violation, a different type of 5-second violation, but same general concept. Epperson misses on the 3-pointer. Offensive rebound, Robleski, and she's fouled by Paige Gieske with 19 seconds to play. That'll send Robleski to the free throw line. Leah Sims is in for Acosta. Robleski's got 15 points tonight. She makes the first free throw. She's got as many now in the fourth quarter as she had the first 3 combined. Came in averaging 13 a game. She's got 17 tonight. St. Ambrose makes an 11-point game, and unless the Saints score here, it's knocked away by Martin. She keeps it in bounds to Lonick, and Lonick is fouled going up. So she'll go to the line for 2 shots with 15 seconds to play. It's about to say, unless St. Francis scores, this is going to be the closest game that they have played in all year. And now St. Ambrose has a chance to make it single digits. Lonick's first free throw is good. Give her 4 points for the night, 77-67. She makes them both. And another timeout call. All the Saints had to do, they had the ball with 28 seconds left. And just 6 seconds differentiating, the 6.5 or so seconds separating the shot and game clocks. All they had to do was pretty much dribble out the clock, get one more shot off, and this one would have been over. But they were called for the 5-second violation. And since then, St. Ambrose has kept fighting. They've made 4 consecutive free throws, now with 15.4 seconds left. Krista Van Houten calls another timeout, looking to get another steal and a quick basket. This would be comeback for all time if St. Ambrose is able to erase the deficit, but the Saints need to get the ball in. That's the biggest key. They haven't been able to do that. At least they were not able to do that on their last 2 tries. Once they get the ball in bounds, you feel like they can just run it out, but St. Ambrose has done a really good job this last minute of forcing St. Francis into quick turnovers. I said that St. Ambrose had called the timeout. St. Francis is actually the team that called the timeout, their final one of the game. That means they're able to advance it beyond half court for the inbounds play. Allard into Leah Sims. So they did get it in. St. Ambrose is not fouling. So the Saints do have the opportunity just to dribble out the clock now. It's down to 5 seconds. And this will be our final score, 77-68. St. Francis topples St. Ambrose. They improved to 4-0 in the conference this year. They're now 3-0 at home, and their record 6-2 overall as they have won their last 4 games consecutively. A little hairy at the end there, but the Saints were able to pull away in the second half after a very close first half, and they beat St. Ambrose by a final of 77-68. 36 points for Caitlin Elward. She was the star of the show in the first half. Seemed as though she was the only one who could score for St. Francis, and then they came out after halftime, and the rest of the team got going. A lot of players chipped in, 11 points for Paige Gieske, 9 of them for Shadrian McDaniel. Leah Sims scored 8, so a lot of contributions in that second half, but Allard never slowed down. She scored 18 points in the first half, 18 more in the second to lead the Saints to victory, 77-68. Once again, our final score. The record for St. Francis now 6-2. They improved to 4-0 in conference play. For St. Ambrose, they dropped below 500. They're now 3-4, 2-1 in the conference. Next up for the Fighting Saints, Tuesday next week, 6 days from now, a 5 o'clock start time. They will take on Cardinal Stritch here at home. We'll have that broadcast for you, as always, through the USF Sports Network. Find us through GoFightingSaints.com as they try to run their winning streak to 5 in a row. Again, the Saints beat the Bees tonight, 77-68. That'll do it from the Sullivan Center on the campus of the University of St. Francis. Thanks for tuning in. Talk to you next week. Until then, Terry Bonadonna signing off for St. Francis. Good night.